Joey, how are you today, good brother?
Excellent. Great to meet you, my friend.
Great to meet you too. How's everything? How you doing?
Doing really well. Busy Monday, but a blessed busy Monday. We've got a couple of lives in on TikTok. Got a training session with my friend V, Project V. We just finished that up a few minutes ago.
Okay.
Yeah, a lot of good stuff happening. So thank you for reaching out, connecting. And I think you did find me on TikTok yourself, right?
I did. Absolutely. I sure did. Yep. You said thank you for reaching out, Joey. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you.
Pleasure.
Thanks for making the time.
Absolutely.
Man, how did you get started? How old were you when you first got into fitness, and what encouraged you to make that decision?
Yeah, great question. Because that tells a great story. You're welcome. So my dad was one of the few people doing this stuff back in the 70s. He was doing it before that, right?
Sure.
But so I was born in 1970. He was doing this stuff as part of his life in the service, military, just stuff he did at a pure personal interest.
Okay.
So there was a lot he did around the house when he couldn't get to the actual gym. And so we naturally saw this. When I say we, I mean my younger brother, my younger sister as well, because they all got into this stuff too.
Nice.
So we would naturally see that. Now, so for us, the blessing was that there weren't many people doing fitness in the 70s.
Okay.
So it was a very, very small percentage of the population compared to now, which is still too small. But we were able to have that experience and see him firsthand. And for me, the obvious benefits were like so front and center and clear, is that, okay, my dad does this stuff. He looks great. He feels strong. He's happy. He has energy. He never complains about his back. He can lift stuff. He could do stuff. They also, when I say they, him and his friends who all trained together, they had a different energy level and a different like vibration about them that you could tell they're more in tune with themselves, and they're more positive about life because they're able to take care of themselves in a way that most people weren't doing. Most people didn't take care of themselves in the 70s, right? Most people didn't exercise. They were eating the traditional awful American diet that was industrialized at the time. But you could see in these people, there's this obvious different realm they were living in, right? And I wanted that. So I saw this, and I was able to make easy comparisons to everybody else. And I'm like, well, I want to be like these people, right? So I'm gonna do this too. That's gonna be my lifestyle. I'm gonna train. I'm going to exercise. I'm going to eat right most of the time, right? And that's really what set me on the path. And so it was a personal thing. Then by the time I got to college, I realized, I could get a bachelor's degree in exercise science. This is cool, right? Sure. So long story short, I did that, followed that up with a master's degree in exercise physiology. And inside of all this I was naturally training people even when I was in my teens. People just knew this guy knows a little bit more than everybody else.
Sure.
He does things differently. So, and he looks pretty good. Even though he's 5'2", he looks like he's got it all together, right? So I was naturally helping people. All my friends who wanted to do this, they would just ask me to coach them. I would coach my friends, and then that turned into clients, and then that turns into a business. And then I had a mobile training company, fitness consulting company up in the New York area, New York and Connecticut. Eventually sold that off, sold all the clients, and then moved down to Florida to start new down here.
Sure.
Hopefully that helps set the stage.
Oh, absolutely. That's amazing. I mean, man, I tell you what, just being a man and your dad, that legacy, and for him to be able to, of course, not only play a part in addition to God and your mom in creating you and your siblings, but also to leave a legacy that promoted longevity. What a beautiful thing. What a blessing to have that. Is your dad still with us, or has he passed?
No, they're around. They're actually, so
nice.
at the time of recording this, I just moved into a new kind of like work personal flex house.
Congratulations.
I do a lot of my work out of the house naturally.
Sure.
And so the timing was such that they just moved down here from New York to the Jacksonville, Florida area. So they're literally like 2 blocks over
Okay.
over here, right? So
Okay. Nice.
yeah, they're alive. My dad's still training. It's
Awesome.
he does more gentle stuff like I
Sure.
teach.
Sure.
But yeah, he's still kicking. They're in the mid
That's
70s,
awesome.
and they'll watch this at some point too. They love watching my stuff.
Ah, beautiful. I'm glad to hear that. Now,
Yeah.
okay. So you saying so your mom is your dad was influential in your mom training as well?
No, mom, she tried on and off through the years,
Sure.
but
Okay.
the harder, heavier stuff back then was too tough for her. And
Sure.
she was busy raising us 3 kids, and then
Of
she
course.
was working, helping put us through college, and so she could never quite get in the groove and stay with it. So it's been an interesting journey to have, parents with 2 different approaches in life, but they've been able to make it work this long. So but all that to say that she's come back around now to realize, ooh, I really need to do something for myself.
Okay.
Right. So now we've all set her up with like a hybrid training program that she also does at home with dad. So we got her the bands. You see the bands in the background hanging from it. They got the band set up at the house. We got all these kind of like hybrid rehab, regular fitness exercises, but done in a very, very gentle way to meet her needs. So, quote unquote, she's in training now.
Good. That's awesome. Yeah. I'm glad to hear that, man. I tell you what, it's interesting, Joey. Just the whole, if you don't use it, you lose it. It's so true. I can think about aspects of my own fitness journey and looking at people my age, your age, older, and those that remained active or got active, how they get around versus those that did not, so
it's really simple. Like I don't know how many of the TikToks you've seen, but yes, it's great to look good on the outside. All right. Like the element of vanity plays a part for all of us, but
of course,
the focus, this is what we teach all of our clients. And I have clients around the world. I hardly do anything in person. Like right now I got Project V going on. Some people know V from the TikToks, but I do a little bit in person, but most of my clients are all around the world because I do this remotely, actually with Zoom most of the time. But the way we get people to really make awesome progress with the outsides of their bodies is by having them shift their focus to taking care of themselves from the inside out, which means don't focus on your weight, don't focus on how you look in a bathing suit. We want you to focus on your health numbers, which means you need to be getting your annual health exams every year so you know your numbers in the first place. Okay. Right? So we get that whole medical profile workup. So now we know all the numbers, cholesterol, insulin, glucose levels, inflammation markers, cholesterol ratios, triglycerides, blood pressure, EKGs. We get hormones. We get all their numbers. We encourage people to get all your numbers so that you're paying attention to what's most important with your health and your body. Absolutely. Now, when you're doing that and you really want to have a positive impact on your true health from the inside out, and you start taking care of yourself to make all those numbers better and keep them up there for life, then magically the outside of your body starts taking on the appearance of a body that's healthy, fit, and strong from the inside out.
Absolutely.
So it's a different pathway to the best results for life, not just for the summer, not just for a wedding, not because you're going to be at the pool on vacation. This is forever, for all of life's events, for all the right reasons. So it's a paradigm shift.
For sure. And that talks to just, consistency. Like you said, it's for life. So if you do like you're supposed to, you'll look good consistently.
Exactly.
Joey, what kind of nutrition do you adhere to personally? I know I watched several of your videos, but one that caught my attention was when you talking about the hearts of palm pasta. So that led me to believe that you felt a little more inclined with the low carb keto thing. Is that your deal?
So let's just call it plant-based. Like I don't like using the term keto because keto is very connected to like a mainstream diet thing now. Sure. Right? Okay. And I understand. We've had to save a lot of people from doing keto. Like the hair starts falling out, their nails start getting brittle. So it's plant-based because everybody has different names for creation. I'm going to just use God for a simple way of putting divine creation, however we all were made. The powers that made us, they put all the foods on this earth that we need to sustain our bodies and our brains and life by divine design. So with that truth, we're supposed to be eating all that stuff, which is mostly plants. All right, so plant-based foundation. Right? So we eat a lot of salads, we eat a lot of veggies. On top of that plant-based foundation goes your proteins, your healthy fats, your healthy carbohydrates.
Okay.
Most people have that reversed, and veggies and salads and plants come last for most people.
Right.
That's why most people are sickly and ailing.
Sure.
Right? So when you have the plant-based foundation and you build on that, right, and you think of it that way, like, okay, if I'm eating a plant-based foundation, that means my lunch and dinner needs to have a bunch of plants in there. So it might be, when we talk about this, we're not talking like bland, dry diet type garbage that most people associate with, oh, I'm going to eat because I have fitness goals, so I'm going to eat a certain way. Most of that, they're thinking it's a diet, right? We don't want to be dieting. If you're on a diet, you're still on the wrong track.
Right.
What we have to be doing is eating the way divine order designed for us to be eating, to sustain health, to have a good body, to have your brain cells acting properly, right? And to heal better, to stave off illness, to stave off injury, right? We'll do that properly. Never have to be on a diet. We call it eating delicious, nutritious fitness meals. That's all. Right?
Okay.
Now, when we learn how to, so people are like, well, I don't know what to do. What do you mean? I mean, stocking your kitchen with all kinds of delicious herbs, spices, seasonings that are all plants, really. Most of them are plants, if not like 95% of them are plants. Those are seasonings, herbs, spices to start cooking your meals with, right? And when you start flavoring things like this and you make your salads with all these different things that combine for incredible flavors, it's like gourmet fitness meals. That's what we call them, right? Okay. So you realize, oh, I don't have to be on a diet. I could actually love all my meals, reach all my goals, look forward to eating. And because it's principles based, it doesn't matter where you geographically go, whether you go on vacation, a wedding, a cruise, whatever. It's principles based. You do the same principles no matter where you are in the world, right? So you know what to choose based on principles. You know, you know what to ask for at a restaurant based on principles, right? Not that because you're not on diet foods anymore.
Right.
You're learning what to choose based on your values, your goals, and your intended outcomes that you want for yourself.
Okay.
Right? So that's really what we teach. We got all kinds of cooking videos. We call them quickly fit, rapid results recipe videos. And that's what we teach people, because people want to know, well, how do you eat? How do you stay like this all year round? How do your clients get such great results? We just changed the paradigm. Most people, they've been programmed to think, well, I have to be on a super clean diet to get my body lean and feel good and be in shape. No. A super clean diet is dysfunctional. Like most people can't sustain a quote unquote super clean diet.
Right.
I consider myself on a super clean diet, but it's a different variation that's very enjoyable, flexible, doable, and repeatable because it's enjoyable, right? So if you make it enjoyable and sustainable, then you can stay on it forever. Hence, you get the outcomes and the changes you want for life. Definitely.
Now, I noticed that you have like free programs. Do you have any programs? Number one, that's awesome. And that says a lot, in my opinion, about your character and wanting to truly help people, that you have information. I mean, your videos, the Joeys are crying out loud, all those and we're going to get to those. It's free, man. I mean, so you really want to help. I mean, that's a blessing. So I appreciate that. I know I'm not alone in that. You're welcome. Do you have paid programs as well?
Absolutely. So all the freebies, and we're getting so much good feedback on those freebies, just like what you just mentioned. Yeah, all of them lead to links that say, hey, if you want all of Joey's programs, you want to get on his methods, like you already realized, I found what I need, this is the guy, this is the way to do it, then they could just join anything from like a low-cost monthly membership, a video on demand program that has everything in there and everything I add new. And then we have people that hire me for private coaching, private fitness consulting. Like somebody might hire me and say, hey, can you come and help us plan out the home gyms for our main house and our vacation home? I help do stuff like that. And then I teach them how to use it as a family. I teach them how to use the new systems they have in their house, their vacation home, to train. So and then again, there's the private coaching where right now I got a full roster. I won't have any openings until like January. But I do a lot of private coaching because people realize they listen to some of my videos. They realize, oh, this guy's not just about working out hard and really punishing yourself to get in shape.
Right.
This guy's got a whole mindset approach to this thing, and that's where the difference lies. Yes, his methods are different, but the key to unlock everything first starts up here, right? I need what he's teaching from the mental perspective, and then his methods are going to be like putting lighter fluid on the fire.
Absolutely. For sure. I love the way that you incorporate more or less taking it, being kind to your body in the training process, like you were saying, in a sense, and we both know people have been conditioned to think, punish yourself, beat yourself up, yada yada yada. And it's interesting because longevity, man, I want to be able to do what I do until the day that I die.
Yes.
And what it is that you teach, what it is that you show promotes longevity. And my question for you, Joey, is how did you come up with that? Was it trial and error? I mean, what influenced to encourage you to be able to have that keen sense to be able to produce something that works so magnificently?
Yeah, so great question. Part of it's
Thank you.
The three-letter word God. I know some people are gonna be like, what is he talking about, right? So
I'm with you.
I'm no genius. Like my breakthroughs come from a much higher place. They're just coming through me to be brought to people of the world, right?
Amen. Yeah.
Now, there's a very fine line between that and then like certain things happening to start giving you the insights to go explore the unknown or something that most people aren't doing, right? So that inspiration, it happened kind of like when my older kids were young. They were like 1, 2, and I'm like in my early 30s, and I'm realizing, man, this hardcore stuff isn't right anymore. Like it was okay in my teens and 20s, but I need to save time. Sure. I can't be in the gym 90 minutes a day. I need something gentler on my joints because I want my joints to work when I'm 80, 90, 100 maybe.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So this hard stuff is not good on the joints. It's not. Even people doing it will admit they're always dealing with joint issues. Always.
For sure.
That's why physical therapists and orthopedists love these hardcore programs because they got patients nonstop.
Absolutely.
So I'm thinking this has to change, and I have to change it. So I'm realizing what are some of the principles I know I've learned. I had the blessing to actually be inside some of the old school gyms in the 70s with my dad. Nice. Back then you could take your kid to the gym because most people didn't do it anyway. So I was in there and I was paying attention. Even as a kid, I was noticing these subtle differences between people's styles, right? And so in my teen years and early 20s, I would try some different things I've seen over the years, combined with what I was learning in college and my master's degree. And really it came down to this. I asked myself a question. I said, I'm getting older. All my clients, the people that can afford me, they're middle age and beyond. And we need a different approach. Something's got to be different. So I decided what I'm going to do is I'm going to experiment more and more on myself. So I started I just stopped all the weight training, the traditional weight training, and I switched to more body weight training.
Okay.
Right? You see the apparatus behind me. That's where that came from. You see the bands behind me. So I started using body weight, bands, and very, very lightweight. No more heavy weights.
Okay.
Here's the key, right? Besides that change, I also started moving momentum and speed from all my movements and started slowing down my movements dramatically. Right? And so removing momentum from the movements made my body actually do more of the work. If momentum is doing your work for you, your body's not doing the work. And if your body's not doing the movement, you're not going to get the activation, stimulation, and desired result from that energy you're putting into that movement. Right? So put all this together, and my training times were cut in half, but my aches and pains were all going away, and my results were getting even better. My body composition was getting better. And so my clients were like, whatever you're doing, I want to do. Just like, take me through the switch, take me through the journey, please. Okay. So all my clients were like, I trust you. Like, I'm training with you. You're my guy, right? So let's do this stuff differently too for me as well. So I just started taking them through it all. I got rid of all the heavy equipment in my first studio, got rid of all the weights. I put in some body weight apparatuses, got a bunch of bands. We stuck with light dumbbells, light medicine balls. And then from there, once I saw everybody was loving this stuff and we had more clients coming to us and everybody's getting good results, everybody's saying, I don't have any more aches and pains and my shoulders are good, my back is good. I was like, oh, I know we're onto something here, right? Okay. So I just leaned into it full force, and I just said, all right, this is it. Like, this is the method. I'm going to differentiate it. I'm going to make sure that when the message keeps coming out, people who are listening, they're like, oh, this guy doesn't do the hardcore stuff. He doesn't teach it. He doesn't push it. He does the opposite. He goes gently. He goes slowly. It's low impact, safe on the body, safe on the joints, and it works like crazy. That's the cool thing. It works even better.
For sure.
So that's where it all came from, really. That was the start of it all, the big switch to the gentler, safer methods that actually give us better results, especially at middle age and beyond.
For sure. Now, how many times a week, Joey, do you train, and what are some of your favorite foods to eat?
All right, so how many times a week do I train? So the way we teach our clients is how we live ourselves. Like, we want to be able to train every day, which doesn't mean you're doing a full training session every day. If you can, you do it, all right? But life gets busy and unpredictable, which means if you're trying to train every day and you're sticking to it pretty consistently, you might have a day here, a day there that life takes you off track, but you can absorb that because you've been training every day properly. So you can miss a day, 2 days, 3 days. If, the family situation gets busy, or somebody's sick, or your friends need you at their side to help them through a tough situation, or it's the holidays and like people are visiting and you're cleaning and cooking, whatever. Like, we teach people it's okay to take a few days off if you're training most of the time properly with our methods. Your body will use those days off constructively to recuperate, to repair, to rebuild, to recharge, to re-energize for when you do train again. On top of that, yes, we teach people you still have to eat properly the way we teach on those days off. You can deviate a little bit. Like, trust me, we weave in many enjoyable treats and things people enjoy into the weekly meal plans that we teach people how to do naturally. Like, I eat pizza, I eat chocolate, I eat ice cream, I have my stuff, but it's, I earn it and I burn it. And that's what we teach our clients. Earn it and burn it, and you can enjoy it, but you can't live on that stuff.
Right, yeah.
It's got to be earned and burned. And when you do that, people are like, man, I love this because I don't feel like I need a cheat day, or like, if I have it, I'm going to ruin all my results. Like, that's false. That's false stuff. That's mythology. So we try to train every day. Some days it's only maybe a walk and a stretch routine before bed because life was busy. Some day it might be a 20-minute training session. Some days it's like a 90-minute training session. Like, the ones I'm doing on TikTok, they turn out to be 90 minutes. If I wasn't doing my lives on TikTok, they'd be like 40, 45 minutes. But I like to interact on my TikTok live. So not the training that's long. It's the conversations and interactions I'm having with people who are really looking for what we're bringing.
Those connections. You said something earlier, and I'm curious about it. Your dad was so impactful on you and your siblings as it related to fitness and that lifestyle. You spoke about your children. Have your children absorbed what Grandpa and what Dad has put forth? Have they absorbed
absolutely. Nice. So my son, who goes by Joe, we call him JoJo. He's fully in the groove. He trains as part of his life, his values. He's health conscious, so he's in it. My older daughter, she's into it. She trains every day. She does her stuff. She's in Spain right now because her fiance, my future son-in-law, he plays professional basketball. Thank you.
You're welcome.
They're in Spain for the season now, playing in the Spanish leagues.
Wow, nice.
But she checks in with me. She's like, "Yeah, I just got done with my workout. I'm checking in with you." So that's awesome to always have that kind of connection. And the kids know I want them to be healthy, fit, and strong, right? And so they like sharing with me what they're doing sometimes, how they're doing it. And my youngest one, she's into it too. She's much more active as a human being. She loves to surf. She loves to skateboard.
Beautiful.
She's very lean, very, very light. So she does training that's appropriate for her. She's not really like into the full workout mode, but she does value it. She does her own outdoor fitness activities, healthy activities. She loves going hiking, loves swimming. She loves rollerblading, because she could do that like nobody's business. So she is active in her own way that's suitable for her. But yeah, they're all into it in their own special way. Nice.
And it's a beautiful thing just to listen to you speak with such pride, the proud father about their children, just a side note, the role of a father, as important as it is so downplayed. So it always blesses me to hear fathers, just do what fathers are supposed to do. You know, it's a blessing to the ear. So
thank you. Yes.
Salute to you in that.
Absolutely. Sure. Thank you. Step one is leading by example.
Absolutely.
Like if you live the example, then you're leading by example. They see what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
They're right there. Even if they're not in the same house anymore, they still know what you're doing, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Even after they leave the house. So that influence is huge. Like you could tell them what to do all you want, but when they see what you're doing and how you're living, that's the impact right there.
Does your dad has he ever said anything to you in regards to what you've been doing and what you've accomplished, or even what your children do as well? And just, I mean, has he ever had a moment of reflection that he shared with you in seeing what has spawned from what he invested?
Absolutely. Like, you know, he's not a man of many words. Like he came off the boat from Sicily when he was a teenager. He's still learning English, if you know what I mean. Right? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But yeah, he's you know, when we've had moments to celebrate big breakthroughs and big contracts and competition wins, because I've been in my share of competitions.
Nice.
You know, and especially getting a master's degree. Like he didn't even know that there was this kind of education when he was doing his training in the 70s, right? So he's been able to muster up. You know, I'm really proud of you. You know, I would have never known that me doing what I was doing would lead you down this great path and see all that you're doing, how it's influenced his grandkids.
Wow.
And, yeah. So that's been beautiful to hear that at times.
Oh, I'm sure it is. Wow. Thanks for sharing that.
Thank you.
I mean, you're welcome. Just again, with what it is that you show and the effectiveness, even in trying things myself, I love the transition from hit to lit. You come up with these associations, these connections. I mean, and they're masterful, because lit is a good thing, you know, and it gets it done. I mean, and again, I love the longevity of it. It's a beautiful thing. Of the things, I mean, that you've been able to accomplish, what other goals do you have for your business, and what other goals other aspirations do you have? I would say business and in life.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome.
Life, I just want to like keep growing as a person, spiritually, physically, medically, mentally, emotionally. I have a thirst for knowledge that just never ends. So like I got books on my bed, I'm reading at night. Even if I can only squeeze out one page of reading, I'm reading something before my eyes shut. So it's just learning through the journey. You know, I want to be there. One of my goals is simply to be fully functional for my grandkids when the grandkids eventually come. Like being functional for my kids, I'm already doing that. Like, you know, I could be out there with them doing anything they want: stand-up paddleboarding, hiking, mountain biking, you know, you name it, soccer. But I wanna be there for my grandkids too, to do the same stuff, right?
Sure.
So that means taking care of myself, maintaining my capabilities, mental and physical and emotional, spiritual as well. Right. So I wanna have that impact on the grandkids, but I wanna be able to spend quality time with them doing things, not being in a wheelchair. Lord willing, I do my part. Lord willing, you know, God will come through and do God's part to make that happen.
For sure.
Professionally, I want to keep growing everything that's happening right now. I started having a lot of big success online back in like 2012, 13. A couple of my programs for women went viral. One of them was translated into 6 languages.
Wow.
That's still a big seller. Thank you.
Sure.
It's called Naked Beauty. Women love it. It's like a game changer for them. They could do it at home. And really the big goals are to keep growing my online video on demand membership program, which is called Total Access. Because I know I'm helping people. When people join that, it's like a steal of a deal, and I know I'm helping them and their families for like pennies a day. And with help they'll never get anywhere else. And to me, that's a blessing to be able to do that for them and give them the materials they need. And the other one is I'm launching an all-natural supplement line in the new year that I've been working on for a bunch of years, because what we put in our bodies makes a huge difference on all levels. All right. Again, divine order put everything we need here. But I know in this day and age, it's really, really hard to get your daily nutritional requirements in. It's hard. Life is busy. Even when we know what to eat and drink, it's still hard.
True.
Right? So one of my goals is to simplify that for people.
Okay.
And not only give them what they need to have, but make it easy to have and get and consume on a regular basis.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
Those are two big obstacles for a lot of people. So that's something I'm working on, trying to help them solve. And again, Lord willing, the first supplement, which has taken a lot of time to create and to develop the formula for, is going to be launched ideally before the spring of the new year coming.
Nice. Oof, that'll be here before you know it.
Yeah, and so that's called Living Strength Nutritionals. Living Strength Nutritionals.
Okay. What particular
supplement? The goal is to keep
supplement?
growing this stuff.
For sure. Now, will this be a multivitamin, or what kind of supplement will this be?
It's actually a 6-in-1 combination supplement. It's kind of like my approach to nutrition, which is plant-based first foundation.
Okay.
Right. So in terms of supplements, we also need a supplement foundation, right? Because all this other stuff you hear about, most supplements are not necessary, and they're scammy, they're bogus.
True.
They're just preying
True.
on people's weaknesses and lack of education. But we do need a good supplement foundation, especially if we're proactively taking care of ourselves and we're being active every day, right? We need those things.
Sure.
So it's basically just providing that foundation where if you get this in your body once a day, your daily dose, you got all your essentials covered.
Okay.
You're good, right? And then from there, it's like, and that helps people because they know, well, if I do this one thing, I just did a lot. Now I'll be more motivated to like make the rest of my day count and turn out good by the end of the day, right? So it serves a few different functions. Some of it's actually physical, physiological, but part of this supplement combo is also mental, emotional as well.
Okay, definitely. We spoke about your dad earlier and how influential he was in terms of your development. Did you have other people, maybe I would say a top 3 to 5 people other than your father, of course, that caught your attention and made you want to push harder and be better in all these regards?
Yeah, so there are a few people. You know, back in the 70s, bodybuilding was an early sport, right? And so naturally, I would check out the magazines. My dad would have the magazines. I'd be looking at them and checking them out. But for me, being 5'2", I was very, very intrigued by the shorter professional bodybuilders.
Okay, sure.
Right, so I identified with them more easily because that was my stature. Cool. I'm not going to change my height, but there are other things in your life that you could certainly change, and nobody's defined by their physical stature. Your spirit, your energy, your soul is really where all your definition lies. Like there's no limits on your spirit and soul. Right? There's no height line for that.
That's true.
But I did take my initial inspirations from the shorter guys because I realized, well, even though that guy's 5'2", he's still a professional bodybuilder competing for Mr. Olympia. There's something to be said about that.
Absolutely.
Right? So one of my first guys, his name was Danny Padilla from Rochester, New York.
Sure.
You'll see him if you ever watch the movie Pumping Iron with Arnold as the star and Lou Ferrigno. Danny Padilla's in there. He's a little guy, 5'2", right? I never thought I'd meet him in my life, but I connected with him when I was early.
Nice.
In those magazines and the movie.
Wow.
Fast forward into my college years, I was going to college in Buffalo, which was right next to Rochester.
Sure.
I had made a lot of friends in the local bodybuilding world up there because I was starting to compete then in the teenage competitions in college.
Okay. Sure.
Lo and behold, Danny had friends at the Gold's Gym that I was training at. We eventually did meet. So I'm standing face to face with my, professional bodybuilding idol.
Right.
Both of us 5'2". I was weighing 135. He was weighing 185. So there was a big difference but it was awesome. So he did a gentle soul, awesome guy. And the beauty of this is that because he was friends with some of my friends at that Gold's Gym we were training at, he ended up coming to an exercise physiology created competition we had put together at SUNY Buffalo, University of Buffalo.
Sure.
And there were different teams. Gold's Gym had their own team. I was on my exercise physiology class team. And long story short, I was chosen to compete in the bench press competition for the event in these games we had put together.
Sure.
I ended up beating my good friend based on percentage of body weight lifted. my friend Joe. He was Mr. Buffalo at least one time up there.
Nice.
And
wow.
the cool thing was, as I'm doing my lift to win, Danny Padilla, my childhood idol, is standing right there, right? Standing right there. So I got this bar with 285 pounds on my chest.
Sure.
And then I have to lift it after a pause. And I'm only weighing 139 pounds, right? So it's more than twice my body weight.
Sure.
So I squeeze the heck out of the bar. I get it off my chest, full clean lift. I win that event. And then my idol comes up to me, like when it's all quiet. He's like, "Hey man, that was a really good lift." I knew what he was talking about. That's all he had to say. Like, that was a beautiful moment. So that he was a big influence in my life. I never could have foreseen him leaning over to me and congratulating me on an awesome lift to win a competition.
Sure.
And then I've had a few people that had won my very first personal training client when I started my official business before I even finished college. He became a really good friend of mine, and we were like 30 years apart, give or take.
Sure.
But we became very good friends. Our souls connected. We had so much in common, and the training relationship just led to an awesome and very powerful friendship. And this man was smart, street smart, spiritually smart, emotionally smart, just a depth of wisdom that I couldn't dream of finding in somebody else. And because of our connection, he was able to open up and share with me way more than he could share with anybody else.
Nice.
And those lessons, those times, and the relationship was mutual. Like the way I would speak with him and share with him, there was an equal impact there.
Nice.
So what I took from that forever changed my life. It just made me a better person, a sharper business person, sharper marketer, more helpful for everybody I come in contact with, no matter what the situation is. And even though he passed at an early age of 68,
sorry to hear that. Wow.
Yeah, thank you. He's still with me. He's still with me. He's still all the time we spent together and the lessons learned. I'll have those for the rest of my life, and they'll continue to help me. Every step of the way. So his name was Mike, and Mike was a force in the sports marketing world, and he did some amazing things. Personally, he was just a gentle giant, like serious as heck, but a heart of gold that just ran so deep. It was incredible. And that taught me a lot, really taught me a lot and developed me as a person, having that relationship with him. Those are the big ones I could think of right now.
I'm surprised Franco Colombo was not very tall as well. Wasn't he a little short?
He was more around 5'5", 5'6". And he was definitely another influencer in the bodybuilding realm for me, because he also came straight out of Italy. I think Sardinia, to be exact. So he was a good influence. It was great to see him also as one of the shorter guys in the sport. God rest his soul too. He's passed on
recently too. Definitely. Joey, in turn, what's some advice that you would give someone, that you would share with someone if they were facing a tough time in their life?
So I've been there. I've had mine, 2 divorces.
I'm sorry.
No, it's all good. Like those dark times, tough times, and challenges made me even more of the person I am today. They're blessings. I'm on good terms with the previous spouses. Everything's courteous. Everything is good. It's all healed up. We're friendly, and the kids appreciate that. But those times really made me work on understanding I have way more potential in me, and I need to work on realizing that potential and continuing to expand my potential. So those times also made me get through some insecurities I had, heal up those insecurities and really tap into my true God-given potentials. And so, during those dark times, you have to see some kind of light. You have to see some kind of light somewhere, and then grab onto that light and let that light be your guide forward. Okay, because if you're still alive, if your heart is still beating, it doesn't matter how bad things are, you still have the gift of life.
Amen.
Once you realize you have the gift of life and that you can decide how you're going to journey forward, regardless of how bad things are now, I kept my connection to God. All right. So the simplest way, and people don't have to do that if you don't believe. You could choose another source of light or another source of spiritual strength, but you better be able to tap into your spirit and connect to something in order to take you forward out of the dark place you're in. The words I used God. God's been an influence in my life. The type of influence God has had in my life has changed over the years as my personal, unique relationship with God has changed. The definition and the relationship have changed. But that's part of what took me out of the dark times, the challenging times when I could have easily thrown in the towel. I know other people who've taken their lives when they were in situations like that. Right. Yeah, they didn't see the light. They didn't see the light. And that happens. I get it. But, for me, it was a blessing to have that element in my life since childhood. And I just kept focused on that. I'm like, and in the darkest moments, right, you still have the theater of your mind to work with. So in the darkest moments, in the theater of my mind, I saw a future that was bright, was awesome, had all the gifts that I could think of, the right people in my life, the right relationships, everything was there. But you have to see it first and then start working your way, stepping toward those visions and working on things to get there in the future. That's the gift of life. The gift of life is meant to be a challenge, but you have to realize you have the potential to overcome that challenge of life and make of it what you want. Your 100%. Choice.
True that. Very true. Very true. Joey, what is some advice or encouragement? What's something that you wish someone had shared with you when you were facing a tough time?
That it's only temporary.
Okay.
It's only temporary. As bad as you might think it is, and as painful as it might be at the time, in the moment, and as bad as the outlook in front of you looks in the moment, it's only temporary. But you have to be willing to accept that truth that it's only temporary and be willing to work to get to the better place. It's not just going to happen on its own. You have to be willing to trust, have faith, and be willing to start putting in the work to get to the better place as part of the journey. It's only temporary. That's it. Man. If you're willing to accept that. Some people aren't. They think it's permanent. They want it to be permanent. They want to suffer. But anybody who's willing to say, oh, this is temporary, I'm passing through this to get to another place, and then start taking those actions proactively.
Yeah, with that comes hope for sure. Man, Joe, you are all heart, man, all heart, and you ooze humility, man. That's just a beautiful thing.
I receive that with full gratitude. Thank you,
man. I appreciate being in the presence of it. You're welcome. I mean, and it's
thank you.
Just in being a human, you're welcome. People that master something or become extremely talented at something, that humility is the first thing to go. So for you to have done the things that you've done, and you're going to do so much more. I mean, because not only do you have this, but you got this too. It's like, man, it's refreshing to see, because we don't see that very often. So thank you for sharing that with me. Man, thank you for accepting the invite and taking the time to be here to have a conversation with me. I appreciate it.
Pleasure. My pleasure. Thank you for reaching out.
You're welcome. So I'm looking forward to everything that's coming, the supplement, enjoying the videos, the training programs, everything, brother. Just, man, keep shining, Joey.
Thank you. So speaking of the training programs, the
yes,
Joeys,
sir.
Okay?
Yeah.
We talked about the Joeys?
We did.
All right, so that's one example, right? You knew what you were looking at when this guy says burpees are stupid, do the Joeys. People who like doing burpees, they can go do that stuff.
Right.
But when I put my messaging out there, the person who needs to hear burpees are stupid is the one who knows burpees are stupid. They just don't know what else to do. They've already experienced bad injuries or simply feeling like they're being tortured, because not every exercise is for every person, let alone every hard exercise. Most people shouldn't be doing the hard stuff. So when I message like that, it's concise, it's direct, it's meant to catch the attention of the people who need me the most. It's not meant to insult people who like doing burpees or trainers who still try to teach burpees to everybody. I'm not putting this out here to insult you. I'm putting this out for the people who need to realize, this guy's speaking my language. He can help me, right? And that's already happening. Hence, okay, so fine. If burpees are bad, what do I do? I got the Joeys for you.
Yeah.
And here's how you do it. And people are trying them. They're like, dang, this is really good.
For sure, absolutely.
This is working. Where have you been?
Just, I mean, yeah, for sure. I mean, even being a martial artist myself for many years off and on, training movement slowly is how you develop control. Okay, burpees doing them full speed is definitely challenging, but you talk about doing those joeys, man, that's you keeping your core tight and taking your time with it. You really working those muscles, just like even when you demoed, when you were doing the arm curls and saying go slow, it's not about how many reps, but just going slow. Right. Same principle, time under tension. You know, control. Immediately when I seen those joeys, I said, man, it's a lot of things those things will do, you know. And I'm just grateful, thank God for I guess somewhat of a mind of experience to know, because some people will look at something and will say, oh, whatever, you know, but no, Joey know what he's doing.
That's why in the video I say, I come to the camera, I say, don't judge these until you try them. Do not judge them until you try them, because you can't judge them unless you try them. When you try them, then things start to click up here.
Absolutely.
Right? It's the same reason I did the hit is stupid. Do this instead.
Versus lit. Yeah.
Right. So lit is the same concept. You're slowing everything down, doing very deliberate movements, properly controlled. When you do them, you feel like, oh, okay, there's something going on here. Like, all right, right? Because most people wouldn't think, well, everybody says you got to move fast and you got to do high impact and high intensity. This guy's saying the opposite. If it's right, I'll do this because that looks much easier and gentler.
Sure. Yeah.
And when you try it, and I put the 3 exercise, I did a 3 exercise mini routine in that Hit is Stupid video. I show people a mini lit routine. And the people who are doing it are like, this is genius. Like, I'm sold. I'm in.
For sure.
What else? Where else do we go next?
Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, people.
Again, this is not me being a genius. I just got something from much higher coming through me to share with people. And I know a lot of people need it.
For sure.
And a lot of people would rather work out gently and sustainably and more enjoyably. So that's all I'm trying to put out there. More and more and more of it.
Absolutely. And that's the thing. I mean, people aren't going to do, there won't be longevity or consistency with something that you don't like, be it in your nutrition, be it in your physical activity. You know, some people like to run, some people like to walk. I mean, so, and again, with you doing it and presenting it the way that you do, and I said it before and I reiterate it, man, I love the longevity, because that's the thing. You want to be able to do it long term. You know, if you hear 100 years, you want to still be capable. You were saying earlier, you want to be able to enjoy your grandchildren. So it's like what it is that the good Lord has helped you to create. It's no doubt that you'll be able to do that in terms of your grandchildren. You know what I mean? One day at a time.
Yeah,
you're welcome.
You got it.
You're welcome, Joey. I appreciate you, brother.
Likewise,
I'm gonna go ahead and let you do what you do, and we'll enjoy the rest of our day, man. And I'll continue to support you. Thank you again for everything, Joey.
Absolutely. Peace, brother.
Take care,
Talk
brother.
Soon.
Yes, indeed.
Bye.
God bless.